Well, welcome back to Step In. This is episode 9.
Wow.
I can't believe we're 9 episodes
Getting
in.
up.
Pretty crazy. But we're very excited because, this is a very fun opportunity for us to dive into the sermon from the past week, talk a little bit more about some of the concepts and the principles and the things that you talked about, as well as just to get to know a little bit more of the behind the scenes on your prep and stuff like that. And so I'm excited. But
I love it.
As always, why don't we check in and see how you guys are doing this week?
Oh, you want me to start? Wow, both of you guys turned to me. Doing good. I really enjoyed the sunshine over the weekend.
Yeah.
That was a highlight for me.
And my sermon, but I mean, mostly the sermon, but then also the sunshine.
That was good too.
That's great. Yeah. Thanks.
And yeah, I don't know. That's really all I got.
What's up for you this week, Wednesday?
Oh, great question.
Thank you.
Well, 2 things. 1,
2. Wow.
we are playing a very fun game called Stinky Drink. And then 2, we are diving into the question called Who Am I? Is what we're answering in our talk. And then we're going to talk about it in small groups. But the interesting part, the game.
Can I ask you a quick question about Stinky Drink?
Yes.
Who came up with the name?
My cousin Rose and I.
I love that name.
We came up
No,
with
I love it.
It's catchy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to try to trademark it, honestly. Like it's
For
a big
sure.
hit in kids' church and in youth.
100%. 100%.
But
Okay, quick pause.
Yeah.
You played it on Sunday in kids,
Yeah.
and not a single round was guessed right. So the kids who got this.
Oh, here, I'll explain how it works.
Explain it.
Okay, so how it works is we have 5 cups on a table.
Okay.
And then I get 5 volunteers to come up on stage, and each of them just stand behind a cup and they don't know what's in it. Then, at the same time, they all take a big sip out of the cup and put it straight back down.
So these are volunteers.
Yes.
Yes.
So they choose to be up there.
Yes, they choose it.
And we tell them what's in the cup beforehand. In kids' church this last week, it was just lemon juice. We went back to the original.
Okay.
Before we had like soy sauce in there and stuff like that. And then the audience is trying to guess who got the stinky drink.
Oh.
Okay, so
None of
that's
the kids guessed it right.
So 1 out of the 5.
yes.
So the stinky drinkity person was doing a good job acting.
Incredible.
Wow.
They were trying to basically trick everybody.
Very
Yeah.
impressive. And
Love
so kids is grade 1 to 5. And we thought since youth is grade 6 to 12, we can up the ante a little
Can
bit.
I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Did any of the people that got the good tasting stuff pretend it was gross? Because that
No.
could throw everything off. Okay,
No,
okay,
they
okay.
loved it so
okay,
much.
good,
It
yeah.
was, so then this week for youth, we're like, before we played it and we did pickle juice, again, everybody loves pickle juice. I thought that would be like throwing people off. No. So this week, we've added, we're going to do, what are they called?
What?
Those little fish, not sardines.
It was herring or something like that.
Mackerels, that's right. So we've got
No.
mackerels we're going to pour into the cup and then we're just going to put it with water. That's just all it is. Mackerels and
enough.
water. And then, yeah, we
Like
didn't
the
think
juice, does it come in juice?
Yeah,
Like,
so the
like
juice,
can.
the sauce,
Taylor.
and then the good drink will be like Gatorade or something
Sure,
like that.
great.
And so yeah, that's what we're gonna do this week, which I'm very excited about. And we're gonna have a garbage can on stage, maybe a tarp. We'll see how far we get with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's exciting.
What would you tell a kid who volunteered and then threw up after drinking the mackerel?
You reap what you sow. I think that's the wisdom I would give them.
Wow, fantastic.
Sage advice.
Stinkity drinkity wisdom.
Stinkity drink.
So yeah, what about you, Spence?
What was the original question? I got lost.
What's up
Check
this
it out,
week?
Yeah.
Well, we bought some new spring clothes for our son. I know that's gonna be boring, but he's getting big.
It's
which is
not
crazy.
boring. Otto's the coolest kid ever.
He's growing. Sydney and I actually had to go and do a full reprise of his closet because he's growing out of everything.
Yeah.
And it's basically empty, which makes it it's so sad because you hold on to all the little things
Yeah.
that you got him when he was. So that was kind of we mourned a little bit, but that's all right. It's also very fun because he's growing and
He is a cutie.
What about you, Mike?
Well, I got my surgery date for my knee replacement.
Wait, that's actually big news.
It kind of is. I just thought of it now. I was thinking about other stuff.
Yeah.
Also, who am I? Before I forget, look up the Dietrich Bonhoeffer poem called "Who Am I?" Change your life.
Is that the same guy that said, "Incredible"?
no,
Oh, never mind.
no, different guy.
Do you know what that is, though?
I think so. I don't remember who said it, but I don't.
I know it was like a violinist.
So not Dietrich Bonhoeffer.
Oh yeah, Victor somebody, the cellist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's cool. So I got my knee surgery date, and so I was talking to the lady, the receptionist, and she called, and she's awesome, and we've talked quite a few times. She tried to get me in a wait list once. She's like, "Can you come in tomorrow for a knee surgery?" I'm like, "No, I need some time." Okay, but she's like, "Okay, I got your date, April 21st," and we're all joking around, and then all of a sudden I was really quiet, And she was like, "You're nervous, aren't you? Now that you actually have the date." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's the real deal.
So you know what? I am a bit nervous. Fair. And I mean, I think I'm going to do it.
How many weeks out are we?
April 21st, 5.
It's coming in quick.
6. Yeah. So that's that.
Nice. And what happened today?
And if anybody's out there and you want to tell me why a knee replacement is awesome or I shouldn't do it, please leave a comment.
And
because I'm still weighing things out. I got a couple buddies who are doctors. I called them both this morning. I'm like, I need a pep talk. And neither of them will say, you have to do it.
It's going to be tough because then you're going to lose a sermon illustration.
My limping around.
That's true.
Yeah, I'll find something else to complain about.
And you got a haircut today.
Big time.
I wanted to bring that up. If anybody's watching on YouTube.
Yeah, and I walked in to the kitchen right after getting my haircut.
Yeah.
Honestly feeling like, you know what? For an old guy, I'm looking okay. And Taylor and Jake and Cam, I'll call them all out. I walked through the door and you burst out laughing.
That was because you walked in while we were cutting up hot dogs, eggs, and mackerel and throwing it into a dish.
For Stinky Drink. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Anyway, great check-in, team. I was happy with that. But yeah, your haircut does look good.
Oh, really?
I just want to end on that note.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's the guy that you guys told me to go to.
Yeah.
Isaac.
He's pretty
Shout
great.
out Isaac.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, are we ready to dive in?
Yes, sir.
He's amazing, by the way, Isaac.
He's very cool. I'm going to see him tonight.
Yeah, he told me.
Okay, well, let's talk about your
I would actually love to.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And I want to start right from the beginning.
Okay, let's do it.
And one of the first things you talked about was the spiritual practice of chastity.
Yeah.
And then you reframed it in a new way. Not the denial of someone's beauty, but dignity, because every person was created in the image of God.
Yep.
My question is this. Can you explain a little bit more about what led you to the image bearer mindset?
I'm not trying to put you guys on the spot, but I'd actually love to hear what you think about it. So basically the idea being when you see someone who's good looking, you don't deny that they're good looking. That's stupid, right? They're good looking. But you affirm immediately there's so much more than that. And so you say to yourself, image bearer. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on that.
My first thought right away is, I think, the way that you applied it to like looking at someone's like physical appearance was a very easy way to apply it. For me, something else that I've tried to apply it to is like when I'm driving and somebody's being an idiot on the road. So
good, Taylor.
That is where I've found it a little bit tougher sometimes. It's like, wow, this person almost T-boned me, but they're still an image bearer.
Yep.
Or my sister. Okay. She's bugging me, whatever the case is. I think I have found a lot of ways to apply this that it takes you from that, like it's me versus them versus like it's I don't know, we're all working at something together. And so that's kind of been a big shift for me, whether it's, lustfully looking or with anger or whatever the case is. It has, I don't know. It put more space in. Does that make sense when I say that?
So much sense.
Okay, that's kind of how I've applied it, and it's been very helpful actually.
Cool. How about you, Spence?
Yeah, I mean, in short, I think it's a really great practice. It's something that I know that has been helpful for me is actually like bringing context to the person outside of that moment. Like they're more than just the moment you're experiencing them. Like, I don't know, you see somebody like Tay saying and like they cut you off, but like even like being like, okay, well, like they're somebody's dad, somebody's son, somebody's whatever, right? Or even like, I mean, in the context that you were talking about on Sunday with like looking at somebody who's beautiful and doing that as well. I mean like, oh, like they're fill in the blank, right? Like they're a mom, whatever, right? Like I think that being able to see like God's purpose and plan for them more than just that moment, I think has been something that is also like really cool. I mean, and like something that when you're preaching about it on Sunday, I was thinking even more about like that, what Taylor was talking about, like people outside of even just that context of beauty, where it's like, well, how do you treat like the person who's living on the street? Right? Like what is your behavior and your mindset towards them? Are you looking at them as a whole person, or are you looking at them as like a nuisance, right? Because like I think that for me, I find is much more challenging when there's somebody who's like a nuisance kind of in your life. Like the driving one is such a good example, Tay. I think that's so good. And it's just a very challenging reminder in those moments of like day to day. So.
Well, I borrowed your car to get my haircut.
Yeah, you did.
I'm driving back, minding my own business to the church. There's a street sweeper stopped in my lane. I pull out. The person behind me honks their horn. They're upset. Okay. Everything.
You just ruined my whole reputation.
What I want to do, because it's Spencer's car, is just absolutely lock up my brakes. Go, you thought that was, but again, it's image bearer. And you know what it reminds me of, actually? So thank you for actually expanding that, because I have been trying to do that. But it reminds me of this notion. Years and years ago, I read this book called Blue Like Jazz. I just love it. And I should reread it again, because it was just such really simple, profound statements. And one of the things he says in that book, he said, often we walk around like life is a movie about me and everybody else is just a supporting actor. And I just think about that a lot, because I have such a tendency to think about that. Like that person who just honked at me, how dare they? I'm me. No, but they're them. You know, like C.S. Lewis said, like every time you see a person, like you don't even know their value. You can't even compute it. They're eternal. They're a soul with a body that's they're a soul that's going to live forever with a body. Life is not a movie about me and everybody else is a supporting actor. So that thought of image bearer, I just want to tell you guys, like, I'm really inspired by that. And I'm trying to do that too. It's just like, not just like in that one context, but as I walk through my life, just remind myself, everyone I see, that's an image bearer of God, man. Like, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I think before we move on to the next one,
sure.
One thing that stood out to me, which you've said this a while ago, but then you said it again, was that I'm pretty sure it was Pope John Paul. Was that the guy who you quoted?
Yeah.
Okay. And he said that the problem with pornography is not that it shows too much of the person, but it doesn't show not enough. Yeah. Maybe I'm not word for word with that. But I like what you said, Spencer. When we say image bearer, it takes away just from that moment. Because pornography is a great example, but when we're honking at someone in the car, we're only thinking of that moment, and it's just so like focused versus that big picture that they are eternal. And so that quote was very, very helpful for me, just to kind of, things are so much bigger than that in like that moment. And so that was a helpful reminder.
I love that, man.
You know what's actually interesting? As we were talking about that, I was thinking, like, years ago I worked at Starbucks. Okay, if you guys didn't know. And when I was in the I remember in the drive-through, like people really frustrate you, right? Like, 'cause they come through and they have a bad attitude, and you only see like that one glimpse of them. Yeah. And I remember people that I would work with often, their desire would actually be that they wouldn't hear more about that person's story, because then it would make them feel bad for them, instead of actually be able to hold like anger or whatever against them, right? Because if somebody's short or upset at you at like the drive-through window, you want to be like, well, like, what a stupid person, you know? They were so mean to me. And there were times that somebody would be like, I'm so sorry, like, I just like found out that like somebody in my family passed away. And then I remember so vividly one moment where my coworker was like, why would you tell me that? Yeah. Right. And it's like this, like, because I think it puts a weight on you that like, oh, like they're not just an object.
They're not just a supporting actor in this movie about me.
Interesting. It makes you think about, like, it's almost like we don't want to face that reality. I know. Which is just kind of fascinating.
It's so cool though, because it's like, it's this cool journey, and this little tool, image bearer, is just one of the ways God says, hey, as you have been loved, love. That's all it is. Yeah. Right. And so it's just an opportunity to just see people more like God sees people, which is cool.
Yeah. I wonder if I just call back what Taylor was talking about with like the pornography stuff, that quote where it says, it doesn't show too much, but it shows too little. As I was like thinking and processing about that, you also mentioned kind of in that same like train of thought on Sunday when you were talking about a pornography addiction, you actually mentioned that it's demonic. And as you mentioned that, I was curious to even know, when you refer to something as demonic, like, what is it that you mean? And then why would you say that a pornography addiction is demonic?
Yeah, that's big. I mean, can I just tell me when to shut up? I'm gonna go on a little tiny tangent here. Okay, in the Old Testament book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, God's speaking to his people, and he says, basically, I have two things against you. Number one, you've turned away from your God, your living water, and number two, you've taken up broken cisterns that don't hold any water. Right. And so that's basically a definition of idolatry. And to me, like, addiction is kind of the end result of idolatry. When you think we were all made to worship. You know what I mean? So we were all made to worship God, and God is the one source that we can turn to, the living water. Like, in a sense, our soul is thirsty for the living water. And so, and God is completely and totally equipped to meet that need, to meet that thirst, you know? And so what happens in idolatry and addiction is we end up looking for something else besides the living water to bring refreshment to our thirsty soul. And so I think addiction is demonic, because I think and there's, I want to say again, like I said on Sunday, there's chemical, there's emotional, there's physical, like I get all of that. I understand all of that. But I think that there's also a demonic aspect to it, because the devil loves people spending their whole life wanting and 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 never finding enough. And so then addiction, a pornography addiction to me is like, so now number one, you've now taken this child of God and you've turned them into an object. You've stripped them of their image-bearing dignity, which I believe ends up stripping you of your image-bearing dignity. And so now what you're chasing is you're chasing pleasure, or you're chasing sensuality, or you're chasing sex, whatever it is, and you will end up wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting and wanting with never enough. And you've stripped people of that image-bearing dignity.
Right.
And so I could go on and on about that, but I basically think, I will say one more thing. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says this: whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow out of them. So now imagine that. An addiction to pornography is I take, I want. Jesus says, no, when you find refreshment for your soul from me, your life won't be about take. You'll actually give. You'll bring refreshment and joy to other people. So the enemy will subvert that, will lead people. So what did they say? The average age is like 11 years old that kids are being exposed to pornography in our culture today. And so the enemy would love to use that and say, no, chase this instead. It's just as good. It's better. And it just doesn't work.
Right.
So that's what I would mean. That was lengthy.
Wow, yeah. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I do want to add something to that. I feel like when you say the word addiction, it's very easy to be like, oh, I'm not a daily user, so I'm not an addict.
Great point.
And so what I wanted to bring up is just, how do you think pornography in general would affect someone, even if they wouldn't classify themselves as an addict? Or what does that look like? Like, I'm not trying to put it on a scale or anything, but I'm just saying, like, where would you say that the use of pornography cause any issue at all? Just because I feel like I feel like sometimes the enemy likes to downplay what we're doing and make us feel a little bit more comfortable with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So somebody could be like, oh, I only watch pornography once this week or whatever. I'm fine. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they could brush off. So I just wanted to hear, what are your thoughts on it at all versus an addiction? Because I think we can dismiss that if it's not like an overarching addiction. Does that make sense, what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay.
So first of all, if someone said to me, I just surfed porn once or watched porn once this week, I'm fine, I would say, you are fine. You are fine. You're completely and totally and absolutely loved and cherished by a God who has a plan for your life. And part of that plan is that you would live a life of dignity, where you would see that you are so much more than just skin and bones. There's so much deep value in you, and that you would live a life of love, not a life of give, not a life of take, a life of love, not a life of lust. And so I would just say, so why wouldn't you start right now? To me, it's not even moralism. It's not like, oh no, you're bad or you're good. It's not even about that. It's like, God wants you to win. So why not win? You know what I mean? And we talked about this on Sunday too. It's like, do you want to win or do you want to pretend everything's okay? So like when you start to go down this sliding scale, I would just say this: just win. Just win. Like anything that's gonna, what are they, Romans 12 verse 2. Don't be conformed any longer to the pattern of this world, which is objectification, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, which is the dignity of the image-bearing status. Just go with that. Not because, it's the right thing to do and you're really bad if you don't do it, because God's like, no, man, I have this life for you. It's so good. And it's so blessed. And it's so abundant. So step into it. So it's not like you're not fine because you did that, but it's like, yeah, you're fine. You're loved. You're awesome. And there's so much more for your life.
Yeah.
And does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's so interesting. I was talking with somebody this morning who like has really had a transformation where they felt like God has just really changed their perspective on things, because he was saying previously, he's like, man, I did everything for the approval of other people.
Yeah.
And he was like, it seemed like I was always chasing events that would create happiness for me. And he said, and he felt like God has made such a shift in him where he recognizes that, right? That he's loved, valued, all those things. And now he says like, I didn't know that joy could be forever. Mm-hmm. Right. And he was like, was I happy before? He was like, yeah, I was experiencing happiness, but not like this.
I love it.
Right. And I was like, I thought that was so profound that he was sharing. He's like, I didn't know that this could happen forever. Right.
Well,
like, it's just like pretty amazing.
Spence, I love that so much because I feel like we're in this series at church, and it's like a series about spiritual formation. And I think the tragedy is, I'm just trying to think of a way to say this without being like sarcastic or offensive in any way, because I don't want to be. But I think there's a real tragedy in our culture because we have a culture that's desperately looking for hope and peace and courage and kindness and generosity. And that's who we are. Like, we've been saved by Jesus. He's the very definition, the personification of those things. And we're like the way that it's supposed to work is we're being transformed into his image. So when we're in this series on spiritual formation, the thing that I keep feeling this urgency, I think this is great for first time attenders to church and people are loving it. I get that. Where I sometimes get concerned though, is I know God has so much, like Corinne and I were talking about this last night, and she's like, man, like even what we've talked about so far, like I have so much more that I can do. Same here. And so what would really, like, I love what that guy's saying, because that's like, that's what we should be displaying. Mm-hmm. The world should look and go, what's the deal with that Taylor? He's so joyful. He's so courageous. Like that's who Taylor is. That's who Spencer is. And so like my prayer for even this podcast right now, if you're driving down whatever, is that little by little, moment by moment, we will step into what your friend said. Just a little bit more of that joy.
Yeah.
Just a little bit as we trust him, a little bit more. So
that's so good.
Something else that you brought up on Sunday was you said God created sex for people. He didn't create people for sex. Why do you think that distinction is so hard for our culture, as well as sometimes the church to fully grasp?
What do you think, Spence?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a tough one?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's the same issue that you're saying though before, but like, it's like people living the take mentality, right? Like, I think that it's a little bit of that attitude where it's like, I deserve this, right? Like, it's like, so who are you to put limitations or to, do you know what I mean? Like to tell me how to embrace this thing that I'm owed. Right. And I think that the mentality of that, like that sex is made for me. Yeah. Like I think really does perpetuate a really like that objectification, right? Where it's like, oh, like I'm owed this. I deserve this. Right. And so I think I love the way that you said that. Cause like, I don't even know if like, I think the Bible only says that about Sabbath, right? Like that phrasing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that you mostly only think about it like that, where it's like, oh man, like if you were to hear, it's made for, it was made, what was it? Like man was made for, or it was made for man, not man for it. Yeah. I think that you would right away only think of Sabbath. Yeah. And when it comes to sex, it's just, I think such a good rephrasing and a good reframing where it's like, oh, okay. Like when it comes to a single person, when it comes to a married person, it changes completely the way that you look at that aspect of life instead of it being something that is so high up on the priority list. Yeah. Like it's like, oh, like, yeah, okay, I see. Do you know what I mean? So I love that. I like that a lot, the way that you said that.
What do you say, Taylor?
Well, I like what Spencer said. I mean, I don't know. I'll take a gander out there and kind of say what I think it could mean. I think that sometimes we trust God, but we don't trust him with everything. Yeah. And we don't always think like, oh, God can, what's the word for that? God can, you know what? That's a tough question. I don't want to answer that.
Okay. I think you're on the right track, but that's fair. Okay. So just quickly, cause I've been talking a lot this podcast, I can sense already. So day one of creation, God, let there be light. And God looked at it and he said, it's good, it's good, it's good. Every day of creation goes through, it's good. And then he gets to day 6, he creates men and women in his own image and he says, it's very good. And so I think that it's back to that broken cisterns thing again. It's like sex is so beautiful and so powerful. It's such a gift because it's the human body.
Right.
Day 6, very good. Created in God's image, the pinnacle of creation. Now I get we're a soul, but we have a body, and God created that body, and so there's a beauty to that, a great beauty, but also a great pull. And so what can happen is you can take the gift and you can make it into something that's way bigger.
Yeah.
And so now all of a sudden it's all about sex.
Right.
Well, no. This person has dignity with or without sex.
Yeah.
And back to that idea of life is a movie about me and everybody else is as a supporting actor. No, it's not true.
Yeah.
That's a child of God and they have dignity. And so when you start to say that, no, people were actually made for sex, then sex takes on this larger than life role that it was never meant to play. Yeah. And people get stripped of their dignity and they become objects.
Right. That's what I was trying to say.
I know. I think you were on the right track about.
That's really good.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It does make me think though. Like, so now it was a long time ago now, but when I was in high school,
a couple years ago,
I just, it was always kind of baffling to me when people in church would be like,
didn't we graduate the same year?
No, we did not. No. They would look at the culture from inside the church and say, wow, culture is so sexualized, but they would also be like, I just can't wait to get married so I can have sex. Right? Like, and there was like this,
Spencer, you brought up a controversial topic.
It's a completely different sexualization. It's the same thing, but maybe it's like in a different form, right? Where I just think that's so interesting because when I was single, for example, and I was actually pastoring in the church, I had people come up to me all the time and say like, what you need now is a good godly woman, right? And so it actually began to get me focused onto just the next phase of life, right? Which like I think that a lot of people, they begin to do that, right? And it's like a sexualization of church culture where it's like, oh, like I just want to move on to the next thing because you know what comes at that stage? Sex, right? But then it's like obsession around even like, quote unquote purity. Meanwhile, it's not because people are just constantly thinking about sex and waiting to have it, as opposed to just like people, in our quote unquote regular culture, secular culture, were just doing what they thought versus in church, they were just thinking it and couldn't wait to do it when they were married. Right. So it's just kind of interesting because it's not a proper view of it either way. It's just a different form, which is, I think, so fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, we talked about this on Sunday, but it's like the idea of where I've had guys in the church come to me and say, hey, I got a porn addiction, but that's okay because I'm getting married. It's like, okay, so let's follow that to its logical conclusion. So I've been surfing porn, whether you want to call it an addiction or a habit, whatever, it doesn't matter. So you've objectified millions of women. So now the way you're talking about your wife, your plans is now instead of objectifying millions of women through porn, you're going to objectify one woman.
Right.
That's not cool.
Yeah.
And so it's like this idea, I believe anyways, it's like to put sex in its proper context. So awesome. Worth being pumped about. But like marriage is a friendship. Marriage is a partnership. Marriage is like God speaking to me through my wife like speaking to her through me, encourage each other, challenge each other. And along with this best friendship, this lifelong, beautiful friendship that for me is still growing with Corinne, sex is part of it.
Right.
I don't love it when I hear conversations go like, why are you getting married? I'm getting married because I want to have sex. I just don't think that's very dignifying to the person you're marrying, if that makes any sense.
It's absolutely not. I mean, on Sunday, you challenged kind of the idea of that, right? That like people who have porn addictions or have issues with lust, they go into marriage believing that it'll solve it.
Right.
Right. And so why do you think so many Christians and people in church believe that going into marriage will solve those things rather than, actually shine a light on them? Like they do, like it does, right? Like that's the reality of it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Why do you think so many people believe that?
Don't do this.
I'm looking over at Taylor and he's like, don't you dare ask me. I mean, I think there's a whole bunch of answers. I think off the top of my head, It's the idea of like, we say, your current system is perfectly designed to get the results you're currently getting. And we live in a cultural system that unfortunately objectifies people. You say, well, it doesn't affect me. Well, you're swimming in it. You're immersed in it. If you go to church and youth and volunteer, that's 3 hours a week, maybe 4 hours a week. And how many hours are you spending learning objectification? So I think that's part of it. Mm-hmm. And so what we do is we transition objectification, and then we try to, like, instead of going like, people are like to Jesus, like, I need all the laws. Give me all the laws that I can be saved. And he's like, you know what? How about this? Love God and love people. Right? And so that whole, when life is a movie about me and everyone else is a supporting actor, that's not love. That's you support me. I take. I know I've said it several times. When I realized that the law is love, well, now it's not about it. It's just about a greater virtue, which is I want to love this person rather than I want something from this person. And then together we'll explore this thing called sex, which is a gift. Anyways, I think that part of it is like it's a little bit of a derailing of the purity culture, which is kind of this concept is like, well, if you obey this legalistic list of rules, everything's going to be fine for you. Everything's going to be perfect for you. And in this world, nothing's ever perfect, nothing's ever easy, and everything is a struggle. And so you need to prepare to work at it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good. Okay. So yeah, the first practice that you brought up was chastity.
Yeah.
And the second one that you brought up was secrecy. I want to talk a little bit about that one.
Okay.
When you introduced secrecy, you contrasted it with virtue signaling, which I've never heard before. Okay. Could you give like a quick summary of that, of what that would mean in different words?
Have you never heard of virtue signaling? Oh, I love that. Okay. Spence, go ahead. Have you heard of virtue signaling before?
Yes, but I don't feel comfortable explaining it. I think that you defined it on Sunday. So I think
just trying to look good.
Okay.
That I would say that in a really in a short way, just trying to look good. Just being perceived to look a certain way, to take the right stand on the right issues in the right way.
Okay, then my question is, why do you think that culture is so addicted to looking good rather than doing good?
Oh, wow. You tell me.
Okay. You know what? I'll give this one a try.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
I think because it feels good when somebody tells you that you do good. Or sorry, when you look good and somebody says that.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear that.
Yeah.
And I think that more often we'll find people praising us for just looking really good than maybe doing the hard right thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I don't really have a long answer for that. I just think
it's a great answer. Good. That's a great answer. What do you got, Spence?
Well, I mean, I can't remember who I was talking to about this the other day, but like we live in a culture where who you are is curated online, right? So like you have designed a persona that you give off on social media.
Yeah.
And I think that bleeds into our everyday lived experience, right? Where you're trying to curate everything that you do. And so if you appear to be this good person, I think you begin to believe that means that you like that you are, right? Like, and because it's what people think of you, how they receive what you post, or like, I don't know, think about how many times you're like, oh, should I post that? It's like, what will people say? Right? Like, or like that kind of thing where it's like, oh, maybe I should post that because everyone's doing it. Or like, I think that there's many trends that have happened like that, where there's pressure socially to do something. And people, I don't know, would like go out of their way to post it, even though say maybe they're not even someone who posts regularly on social media.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like this, I think this weird culture we live in where people are trying to really curate their image, and they believe that that's then what's important, as opposed to allowing people to see who they really are.
Yeah.
Right. And I think you've said before, like we are comparing somebody's highlight reel to our behind the scenes or whatever. Right. And I think that that's the reality of a lot of people's life. So,
yeah. I mean, as someone who was around before social media, I think you're right, but I really cared what people thought of me before social media. I just think I can't imagine trying to be, and again, I don't want to pretend. I think this is a struggle at any age, but I can't imagine being a young person nowadays with just the hyper awareness that people have of the image that you're trying to portray. But I just think that it's again, I don't want to keep going back to it, but let's just imagine that there's a part of us in this world that's tempted towards this. Life is a movie about me, and everybody else is a supporting actor. Okay, so number one, we maybe lust after good-looking people. Okay, well, number two, approval is just another version of that, right? So it's like life is a movie about me, and your only value on earth right now is what? Feed me. Feed me. I need your approval. I need you to like me. Not for your sake. Do I want you to approve of me for your sake? And someone who's dead set on getting approval from people, it's for me. Feed me, feed me. So it's just that, that 1 Corinthians 13, Jesus says, love God, love people. Paul breaks down 1 Corinthians 13. Love is not self-seeking. Approval is exclusively self-seeking. Life is a movie about me. You're the supporting actor. So if you could all just applaud for me now, then I'll feel happy. And really, You've played your little role. Good for you, Taylor. You did something good today. That was your only. So now you go, you hide in a cardboard box, whatever you want to do, because that was your thing today. And it's just, it's another version of the same exact thing.
Yeah. I'm finding that as we go through this, this is what I'm taking away from this series so far.
I love it.
Is a lot of these practices are really challenging those like inner vows or those false selves that we have. Like, I think when we talked about rest, silent solitude, like the false self of winner, that one's being really, really challenged there. Just because it's like telling you, well, I mean, you can't win if you're resting, like that kind of idea.
That's right.
And then these two, chastity and secrecy, I feel like for me are really challenging that. I don't know what a false self for approval would be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to say that. But anyway, I think it's really, really challenging approval. So I'm quite grateful as we go through this. I'm starting to connect the dots from those false selves that I feel like I get challenged with and I fall into sometimes. And then the direct resistance to these will be like certain practices that battle against that. So
that's so encouraging, Taylor. That is so encouraging. No, I'm serious.
The dots a bit.
That's so encouraging. Thank you.
Helpful.
Yeah. That means a lot. And I think that, it's like this, it's kind of like a mystical thing. Like, to me, silence has its own benefit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's good. Like I always remember the story that you told about walking your dog, and you're just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right? What's your dog's name again?
Zeus.
Yes, of course. So it's just like, but it's just like that. There's a benefit, but there's a mystical element in it.
Yeah. Be
still and know that I am God. God speaks in a whisper sometimes. So there's the, hey, I'm stepping out in obedience. And there's a benefit from chastity. You know what it is? Sex doesn't work. Sex is a gift. Sex is not the point of life. So if you try to chase sex thinking that's going to feed your thirsty soul, it's not going to work. But then there's also the other part of it. So there's that benefit, but then there's that deep spiritual, I'm cooperating with the work of the Holy Spirit now. And so now it's not just this immediate benefit that I'm getting off of the rat race thinking that somehow that's something that can never satisfy me completely is going to satisfy me. But I'm also inviting the Holy Spirit to make me a person of love. And I'm being changed. And so that's what I love about this idea of spiritual formation. You can't earn it, but you can put yourself in a posture where God is beginning to get to work. So, man, that's powerful what you said, and I really appreciate that. That's been my prayer for this series.
Yeah, it's only taken me, 6 weeks?
That's awesome. I mean, on the topic of secrecy, I think that, you've talked about it a few times, that approval is a common addiction. I'd say probably for the three of us, we would all say that's something that we've struggled with to some degree, is wanting people's approval.
Yeah, right? Like imagine walking into a kitchen when you just got your hair cut and everyone laughed at you. That'd be tough, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Right. And so,
just as an example, let's say that happened to somebody.
Right. But I imagine that there's probably lots of people listening who have the same kind of feelings as we do, looking for approval from other people.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think that secrecy does? Like, what does it give us and bring to us in terms of even like, kind of what you were talking about just then, like there's like that mystical element. What do you think it offers us that public approval or public appreciation or public affirmation wouldn't? Like, what does that practice kind of do as you actually participate in it?
I love that. Like there's the immediate benefit, which is I do something because it's right. Who I am when no one's looking. I understand that matters more than who I'm portraying myself to be, you know?
Right.
And in terms of what's the benefit, again, when you choose to practice this thing called secrecy, Matthew chapter 6, Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount, he's like, hey man, when you fast, don't make a big deal out of it. Don't show off, because then you're already getting the benefit. When you give, don't have people blow trumpets and go, look at Taylor, he gave, what a guy. And the passage that we read this Sunday, like when you give, when you help others, just do it. Don't do it for the applause of people. So there's this secrecy thing, which is like, okay, number one, I just want to do something because it's right, because that's good. But then there's the invitation to the Holy Spirit of God to say, could I be a truly courageous person if I was crippled by wanting the approval of other people? No. But you were born to be a courageous person. So now when you practice secrecy, you're cooperating, you're putting yourself in a posture where the Holy Spirit, because again, I know we've said this a ton of times, I know he's not going to grab you by the scruff of the neck and shove you into the abundant life.
Right.
It's like, Father, I'm practicing secrecy because it's, number one, I want to focus on doing the right thing, not being perceived the right way. Wow, I really like that actually. But also because I believe in the power of your Holy Spirit. I believe you're not done with me yet. I believe the best is yet to come. And I don't mean when I die. I mean like this week, today, tomorrow, the years to come. And so therefore, I'm watching him transform me into being a more courageous person, a more truly generous person. Generous, you know, what does Jesus say? When you give, don't make a big deal out of it. Don't even let your left hand know what your right hand is doing.
Right.
And I mean, that's just, we could talk about that for hours, but basically what it means is like, what if that's just who you are? Generosity is just you. Like courage is just you. True godly confidence is just you. And so I believe that there's tremendous power from these practices to just invite Jesus in to do his work, you know?
That's really good.
That's good.
You know, I think a lot of the other practices, because you've been using the kind of the phrasing that we should organize our lives around these practices and these habits that help kind of us become who God created us to be.
Yeah.
Secrecy is kind of a challenging one for that, right? How do you think, and maybe some advice, even like for me, genuinely asking, like, what would you think would be a good recommended practice that you could build your life around, or, you know, structure your day around that could integrate it into your week?
So in this room right now is Brianna. And if you want to talk about someone who's very structured at integrating things into her week, she'd definitely be the one to talk to. I'm way more in this way. I'm a bit of a scattered person. So for me this week, I've just been praying, Father, and I've had a couple little opportunities. Hey, Jesus, just show me a chance to do something for somebody this week. And I don't need to let anybody know about it.
Right.
And he's faithful, right? But you're probably right. Like we're going to get to, when we get to the end of this entire series, I'm really excited to talk about the rule of life. And part of it will be spontaneous, but part of it will be a little bit structured so that you have a checklist and say, hey, secrecy is something I haven't practiced in a long time. That's something I'm going to pray about this week. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really good. I appreciate that.
That's good. Okay. Well, thank you, fellas.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for tuning in today. Maybe you're thinking right now, we have so many of these spiritual practices that we're starting out. Where can I start? I think just start somewhere. I think 2 today that were very helpful for me, at least chastity. How can we apply that of just thinking, looking around and seeing people as image bearers?
Yeah.
And then secrecy, I don't know, a kind act. You don't need to tell anybody about it. I think that those are very, very applicable. So thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you guys have any questions about the sermons on Sunday, please text the keyword STEP to 604-670-3040. Goodbye.
Goodbye.